evening, Michael Canning. I happen to be a plaintiff in the lawsuit challenging the last election.
Mr. Canning, the last election is not on the table. It is not on the table.
It's not on the table, but it's relevant to the point that we're talking about.
We need to concentrate on the future.
I am concentrating on this election, okay? I don't need to be squelched, okay? You got two rules in here, one for one group of people and one for another group of people.
No,
I don't think that's fair.
Now, I applied the rule to Mr. Hartley just like I'm asking you to cooperate with it. We're talking about the future election.
We're making a decision about an election because there were problems with the last election, okay? And what I'm raising is my concerns about this. I agree with Mr. Hartley in an ideal situation. I think it's preferable to have the fire station as a precinct, polling place. I think it's preferable to hold the election here in Alachua instead of in Gainesville, canvass the election. I think it's preferable to be able to have the convenience to pick up your absentee ballots at City Hall. All of this depends on being able to depend on the integrity of the election process. Now, one of the things that I lost in the last election was confidence in that integrity. To talk about one thing, the canvassing board. Whether you canvass this election in Gainesville or whether you canvass it here, the current canvassing board, one of the members is a candidate, so obviously that's out. One of the members, I want to know how you're going to have a canvassing board chosen here in Alachua between now and April 10th that is not going to be partisan to any of the candidates. I would like to know how you're going to do that, number one, because one of the things I object to this contract, if you have it in Gainesville, is it says that the city canvassing board is going to meet in Gainesville. That doesn't make much sense. If the problem is having a nonpartisan canvassing board, it's not going to be favoring one candidate over another. So I would like to see if you're going to have it in Gainesville, then the county should take care of the whole election. If you're going to have it here, then I would like to know how you're going to have a canvassing board that is not partisan to one candidate over the other. I would like to know who you're going to get to supervise this election from the Department of State, who's going to oversee. The problem is not with the machines. The problem is with the absentee voting, handling of the absentee ballots, and handling of the canvassing of the election. Either one of those were done properly in the last election, and I would like to see it done by the book this time. There's Florida statutes that govern every step of the way, and they were just about all violated before. So if you can figure out a way to do that here, I would rather see people be able to walk across the street to the fire station and vote. I would rather see people be able to pick up their absentee ballots here. But I don't have any assurance that it's going to be run in a professional way with the integrity that an election should have. So if you can convince me of that, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Again, I will reemphasize that the last election is not on the table, and any comments related to that may be under litigation. I urge anyone that has any questions to seek the facts and again, concentrate on the future election. Mr. Henderson, would you like to address the issue on the canvassing board? That is a legitimate issue and one that can be addressed so that all citizens are assured that it is a fair process.
Yes, ma'am. Board of canvassers by our ordinance are the mayor, or in his or her absence. In this case, you would not serve.
Correct.
You would designate someone, another commissioner, in your place. And the city manager is also called for, and the mayor or the mayor's designee chooses the third party. In this case, you would designate someone to take your place.
That is correct. Yes. And the document that Mr. Henderson is referring to is an ordinance, which is a piece of legislation that was passed by the commission a number of years ago. Our commissions are guided by our charter and legislation that enforces the procedures for conducting the election. So the ordinance and the charter is what guides our elections and the process we must use. But the canvassing board issue is a legitimate issue, and if the choice is to have it here, certainly I would recuse myself from that and ask, at this point, I would recommend that Vice Mayor Kerper serve in my stead, and we would proceed in that manner.
So noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. The floor is still open for comments.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Delma Cameron, citizen of Alachua. I would just like to say that we, the citizens, it's not I, not you or me, but we, the citizens, have had confidence in you all running the elections in its proper manner. We have confidence that it was done right. We still have that confidence in you all. And I think if you all would move it to Gainesville, it's going to pose a hardship on a lot of our citizens who would be willing to come out to vote here, wherein they would not have that opportunity to go to Gainesville. And with the way things are going here in Alachua on election day, we need all the votes that we can get. And I hope that you all can keep it here in Alachua for the benefit of all the citizens, not just a few.
Thank you, Ms. Hammond. The floor is still open. Hearing no one else come forward to speak on the issue of the election being conducted by the Supervisor of Elections Office or being held here, and certainly we take all the comments and want to make sure that the input is provided in a manner that the citizens feel comfortable providing us, whether you choose to have it here or have it in Gainesville. And we want to make sure we invited all comments before we took any steps to make a motion or otherwise. Commissioners, I would like to hear from each of you on your comments. Commissioner Burgess?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Unfortunately, as history has it, the lowest voter turnout occurs during local elections. And in my opinion, local municipalities produce the leaders that vote on your schools, on your roads, on development, smart growth. So if we take what we have been accustomed to for the past decade at least or so, Florida is certainly not the ideal state when it comes to voting and elections. Let's put that right out there. But I think that we as a community in the city of Alachua, that we need to keep our elections local. And that way we can ensure that what we intend, we as I'm speaking as a citizen and as a commissioner, what we intend to do in the city of Alachua in terms of making decisions on our community needs to be done, and it needs to be kept here. And I think we would lose a certain amount of autonomy if we were to move any part of our local elections to Gainesville. So with that being said, I would encourage you to support this city and this community and this country and maintaining the city of Alachua voting and keeping opening all three of the precincts, the voting precincts. And I think Mr. Henderson is a capable deputy city clerk. He knows the rules. He knows the consequences if those rules are broken. And I think that the city of Alachua is smart enough to run its own election. And with that being said, Madam Mayor, I am in favor of Alachua keeping our voting and our elections in our municipality. And whatever role that the supervisor of election will play, then let that play out. But for the most part, I am in favor of our local elections staying local. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burgess. Commissioner Hill.
Madam Mayor, I'm in quite agreement with Commissioner Burgess. As you know, I guess we call it the north side of Alachua. Most black people are living in here. And what it's going to do is might as well say disenfranchise them, might as well say, because a lot of people can't go to vote over to the rec center, and so therefore they won't be able to vote. So then there will be half of the town deciding who's going to run the town, and there will be people that won't be able to vote to determine who's going to govern them. And I think that this is one of the things I'm concerned about, because we was always concerned about that the fire station, because that was the place where most of the people voted on it. And I don't see going to Gainesville for you're getting absentee ballots, going to Gainesville for all these other things. I don't see that. Because we might as well call it a Gainesville, Alachua election. And I just don't see it. And so I'm, Commissioner Burgess said, I think we have qualified people to do whatever we need to do. And even if we have to get some people to observe, we get that to do that. But I don't think we should take it out of the city of Alachua. I'm through.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.